Good afternoon, everybody. This is Thomas Lewis. I am the account manager for the Southeast. I have some responsibilities in a few other states like Texas and Missouri. By the way, I am calling in today, so you won't have to see my face. I was having some technical difficulties and connectivity issues, and I couldn't get the video to link up, but so I'm calling in, and that's why you just hear my voice and not see me talking. I wanted to thank you all for joining us today. I hope everybody's safe and healthy during this unprecedented time, the new normal that we're all dealing with, and I know everybody has a lot going on right now, and we really do appreciate you taking time to join this webinar and listen to us for a few minutes. What we're going over today is a product called the SteadyCharge that Hall and I will be talking to you about. And what we'll go through is basically about the product, the features and functions of it, and the LED lights that, if you're familiar with our liftgate systems, you're familiar with our lights. So that's what we'll be going over today. So the product that we're talking about is called the SteadyCharge, and we developed it because the customer came to us. They wanted us to charge their heater batteries over the summer when the heater units weren't being used. And if you're not familiar with a heater by any chance, mostly in the southern states you don't really see them that often. It's more, at least in my experience, the northern states where you'll have heater units on trailers that have to keep the goods in the trailer from freezing in the winter months, say up in Wisconsin when it's in the single digits, or in mid-January, they're hauling produce or drinks. You don't want those items to freeze, and so a heater unit is put on these trailers. Well, in the summer months, those batteries really aren't needed, and so this customer said, we need something to keep these batteries charged. What we developed was, again, if you're familiar with our liftgate charging system, this is basically a liftgate charging system light. Our regular 30-amp system is for the liftgate batteries. This is a 10-amp version of it that really operates in the same manner. We change this slide. We utilize the 7-way circuit to keep continuous power from the tractor to charge these batteries, and it's not necessarily just for heater batteries. It can be used for any auxiliary battery, but this was just what we developed this for. It's going to save time and money. Obviously we know that batteries aren't cheap, and changing them is the labor on it is not cheap. And in addition to that, it keeps the technician safe. Those heater units are usually pretty high up, and those batteries aren't light, so getting up there on top of the trailer and pulling these batteries out can get pretty dicey sometimes. So keep the batteries charged, maintain them. We're also, like our other system, liftgate charge system, we're monitoring the truck batteries as well to make sure that we're not depleting that. We don't like fixing one problem and then causing another. So all around, time saver, money saver, and a safety item. And Hall, I think you're going next.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. So I'm just going to talk through a few of the other key features, just dive into a little bit of detail into the SteadyCharge and what it's all about. So a few of the features we're going to go over is the simple installation, kind of what power from the 7-way means, and what we do, what we have protections-wise to make sure that it works well without harming the truck batteries or stealing power from something like the roll stability or the ABS. We'll also talk about temperature compensation on the charging, the LEDs that Thomas mentioned, and one thing we wanted to make sure and note is that we know this is to be mounted outside on the outside of the trailer, and that it deals with a lot of things coming at it: salt spray, rain, all kinds of stuff that's on the road. So it is weatherproof. We have made that to withstand any of those conditions that you might run into, and make sure that it's going to be up and running and doing what you need to do. So diving in here just a little bit, first thing I just want to note on this picture before we change the slides, as you'll notice there, we have our enclosure. It's got 2 cables coming off of either side. One of those is going to the batteries, and one of those is going to the 7-way nose box. And there are also 2 lights, our indicator lights here. One says source and one says battery, and we're going to dive into what those exactly mean and what those tell us here in a couple slides. So first thing is ease of installation. As Thomas mentioned, this is designed to save time and money, and we made the installation with that in mind. So in order to install this, there is a simple 4-bolt pattern. It's all you need to do to hook this or to mount this on the trailer. And then, as I mentioned before, there are those 2 harnesses coming off either side. One of them is going to the battery. It's just a positive and negative lead, hooking into the heater unit. And then the other is positive and negative hooking into the nose box. So there are 4 connections to be made, 4 bolts to be put in, and install is done. So again, just making this as easy and user-friendly as possible. The second one, and what I think is probably one of the biggest benefits, is this 7-way charging. So for other systems, and even for our liftgate charging system, for the more robust and heavy draw batteries, there are other cables that need to be plugged in. So there might be a dual pole cable, there might be a single pole cable, it might be an AC charger, so you've got to plug it in at the end of the day. All of those either count on the driver or the tech, who has a lot going on, to plug in this extra cable. So the nice thing here is, since it's charging through the 7-way, that cable's got to get plugged in order for there to be lights on the trailer, so you know it's going to get plugged in, you know you're going to get charged. And as you're driving down the road, you're going to maintain those batteries. It is temperature compensated, which means if it's cold outside, it's going to increase the voltage. If it's warm outside, it's going to decrease the voltage to make sure the batteries don't get damaged or harmed. It also has its 3-stage charging, so once the battery is fully charged, it will taper off and just go into a float mode, so it won't damage the batteries that way. And lastly, and most importantly, we have protections in for the truck. So if it has to see key switch voltage from the truck to turn on, which means it won't drain the truck batteries, and it has protections built in for the ABS and roll stability, which need approximately 9 volts to work. So our system is set at a 10-volt cutoff. Anytime it sees that 7-way voltage drop below 10 volts, we're just going to shut off. We're going to immediately cut out. We're going to leave it be, and we'll check back. I think it's in about 2 minutes after that, we'll check back and see if that voltage has come back up. So the big thing is we want to make sure that all safety features are intact and working. We want to make sure that the batteries on the truck stay charged and ready to go, so we don't cause, we're not going to cause a no start trying to keep your heater battery charged. And we're going to make sure that those batteries get charged optimally and without any damage. We also have those 2 LED lights on the front. These are essentially just there to tell you if the system is working as it's supposed to, and also give you an easy diagnostic, easy understanding of where the battery is at any moment in time. So, and by where it is, I mean voltage, obviously. So the light, if the battery is at a good state of charge, so let's say it's at 12.5 volts, anywhere between 12.4 and 13.8, that light is going to be blinking green. And that will just tell you that the battery is at a good state of charge, but it's not currently being charged. Once it gets plugged in and it turns on, the truck starts, it will turn solid green, just tells you that that system is on and working. We also have then a blinking orange light that tells you if the battery has dropped below 12.4 and just tells you that it needs to be charged. Or we have this fast blinking orange, which tells you if there's a fault. So it just kind of gives you an easy view of, oh no, I need to get this charged, or I'm in a good state of charge, whether it's working or not. And then lastly, if it drops below, let's say, for example, it's been sitting out on a lot for 2 months and hasn't been plugged in or something like that, normal parasitic loads on these batteries a lot of times will just drain the battery down. So if it drops below 7.0 volts, our light will shut off. So if you do go out and see there are no lights, and this applies to any of our systems, so if you have any of our other systems in play, if you see those lights off, one of the first things to check is that voltage, because if it drops down that low, that tells us that something else needs to be addressed, and those need to get charged another way or maybe replaced. So a few other things just wanted to note. We do have resources for all of these. As with all of our products, we are here to support however we can. We have a 3-year warranty built into everything we sell. We've got a warranty team and a service team on standby, ready to help however they can. We've got documentation on our website, so installation guides, data sheets, sell sheets. Once this webinar is completed, we'll have this webinar posted out there, I think in a couple weeks. So we also have Thomas and my information down at the bottom of the resource widget, I think is what they were calling it, or what it's called, down at the bottom. And it's also on our website. If we can do anything to help or answer any questions, please feel free to reach out. And we'll also take a Q&A session right now. So if there are any questions that you may have that came up during this webinar, please feel free to reach out to us now, or you can also, again, reach out to us at any time with any of those other methods. So let's see. Just looking at a few of the questions coming in. We have one. When installing the box on the trailer, is there a certain location already identified, and how long are the 2 harnesses? So as far as the location, there's really not. It's wherever is most convenient for you. We know those the front of the trailer gets really busy and really full, so it kind of is wherever ideally would work best for your fleet. And the 2 harness links, I'm actually not sure right off the top of my head, but I can get that information, and I will I'll follow up with an email to you with those links. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but we'll get that for you. Had another question. Can this be used? And sorry, Thomas, hop in here if you will. I know you were having some technical issues. So, but can this be used for any battery, or does it work just for heater batteries? What other batteries would be good for? Yeah. So as we mentioned, this can be used for any auxiliary battery, not just for heaters. We designed it for a heater system, for a heater trailer, but it can be used really just to charge anything you need. Like Thomas mentioned, we also have some bigger chargers at 30 amps. So we have a whole line designed for any battery you could need, regardless of the load that's being pulled off it. And I'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one if you've got an application that you think this would work for, answer any questions, and figure out what's best for you.
And yeah, so the questions weren't populating right off. I do see now there's another question on warranty on these. All of our products, including this one, is 3-year warranty. Just to reiterate that, I know, Paul, you did say something, but it is across the board. All of our products do have a 3-year warranty.
And then it looks like we have one more. Other webinars in the coming months is what it's asking. We have one next month on solar, particularly applications and myths about solar. So if you have any solar, or if you had any questions, that will be in April. We're trying to dig in and really answer any questions that might be, look at the applications that solar works well for, as well as bust any myths out there that people have been hearing. So we'll be here to take any questions you have on that. We're also doing a more in-depth multimeter training. We had a multimeter training, I think, a month or two ago that are, I think that is now posted on the website. So if you want some multimeter 101, that's up on the website. The next class is going to be in May. And if you want to sign up, those are in the widget, in the resource widget at the bottom. We also have, if you have any questions about other products or looking for webinars on those, we've been doing troubleshooting and diagnostic webinars, as well as informational webinars on all of our liftgate charging systems and everything over the last few months. I believe those are up on the website as well. And if you have trouble finding them, feel free to reach out to either one of us and we can share a link. Trying to get all of the information we can for you and get everything out there on the web. So if there are any topics you're interested in seeing, feel free to email us those as well. We'd love to be able to build those in. So. I think that, we have one more that just came in, sorry. Do you have any moisture issue with these boxes?
This is rated to be on the outside of the trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the exact IP rating is.
IP66 is the IP rating. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been told not to submerge it in like 3 or 4 feet of water for a long period of time. That's not what it's designed for, but any kind of rain, any kind of just basic humidity, salt spray, any of that, it's rated to withstand and work in. So. Okay, and I think looks like that's all the questions. We are going to have a quick survey, just a quick little 1-question survey that will pop up here as soon as we close out. So please stay on for this. And sorry, we're seeing a few other questions come through. We'll make sure to reach out to everyone individually. One more quick one. Do all liftgate charging systems charge through the 7-way? They all can, but they do not all automatically charge through the 7-way. So we have different configurations based on the liftgate charging system you've got. It may or may not. I will go ahead and reach out to this questioner specifically to see what system they've got and if that's the case. But yes, we do have liftgate charging systems that can charge through the 7-way. So, okay. Thanks, everybody. And yeah, we've got the survey coming up. So if you'll stay on to answer a question on that real quick, that would be great. And have a great rest of your day.
Yes. Thank you all and be safe.
Mm-hmm.